everybody, I'm Joy Griffin. I'm a professor and an entrepreneur reacting to Shark Tank videos. Let's watch a company that became a household name, but started out with a really weak problem statement. Let's watch Scrub Daddy.
I'm Aaron Krause from Philadelphia, and I'm known as the daddy of the Scrub Daddy, the cutest but most high-tech scrubbing tool in the world. Today, I'm seeking a $100,000 investment in exchange for 10% equity in the Scrub Daddy business. It's the greatest kitchen scrubbing tool you ever used because Scrub Daddy completely changes its texture by just adjusting your water temperature. Let me show you how that works.
So I was starting out watching this video thinking, how do you innovate a sponge? So the thing about it is that nobody sits around and thinks, I wish I had a better sponge. And so right away, when he brought up that he's innovating this space, I'm thinking, well, here's the pros and cons. The pro is that if you do a good job and you do create a differentiated product, people are going to buy it again and again and have a lot of loyalty toward it. However, it's really hard to go up against those incumbents. So when you're thinking about walking into a grocery store and you see your traditional sponge, which has yellow on one side and the green part on the other, like that's where you're going to purchase if you're seeing another product. So how are you going to lure that customer away from that incumbent product into something new? Let's see if his technology is actually unique enough to pull that customer away.
Here I've got some hot water. Here I've got some cold water. When I immerse the Scrub Daddies in the hot and cold water, a complete transformation occurs. Now, to show you that, I've got 10-pound weights. Here, under the 10 pounds, it's soft and compressible, and that's like a sponge. That's for your general scrubbing applications. But here, check that out. It's hard and firm. That's going to be for heavy-duty scrubbing applications. We burned on brown and gravy, tomato sauce, cheese, and mustard onto a glass stovetop and a stainless steel pan. I'm going to take the Scrub Daddy, and you're going to see it's just...
So I just want to point out that here, this requires a demonstration to actually explain the sponge. This comes into play when you're talking about taking a product to market. And so seeing this is great. But again, what makes it different? Perhaps it doesn't scratch your countertop, but we're working off of an assumption that there's no pain point here. We don't have customers complaining about their sponges, and now we need a demonstration to be able to convince them that this solution is better. It seems good, but let's take a look at how he's actually going to bring this to market, because that's going to be the challenging part.
And remember, I'm just using water here. There's no chemicals at all, and it's going to cut right through that. It won't scratch any of your surfaces, but it will clean them beautifully. Now, Scrub Daddy is not really smiling anymore, so I'm going to put him here in the warm water, and in just a couple seconds, voila. He's back to bright, fresh, and clean every time.
This founder is doing an infomercial right here on Shark Tank, which is great because the Shark Tank effect is real and maybe people are going to go buy this product. But again, very long educational process. Let's see if we can actually bring this to market.
Sharks, with your help, Scrub Daddy will be scrubbing and smiling in every kitchen in the world. Woo!
Wow.
Wow.
Scrub Daddy.
I never witnessed a live infomercial.
That was fantastic.
Where are you selling this now?
Thank you.
Well, currently, we have it in 5 supermarkets in the Philadelphia area. We also sell it on our website. I've been on QVC 3 times over about 3 months.
And how'd it go?
Fantastic. They've invited me back over and over.
Let's talk about QVC. So when I talked earlier about being in a grocery store and having your product hanging right next to the market leader, and that's a tough sell because clearly nobody understands the difference. As soon as you get into a market like QVC and you get to illustrate the product live on camera to a specific demographic, then that's when you can start to sell. I'm curious how many of these sponges he's actually sold with these different business models.
What were your total sales? QVC, wholesale?
Just north of $100,000. Only in 4 months.
Do you have a patent on this?
I actually have a patent. I have 2 more pending. We have the trademark. We have domain names.
Let's talk about patents. So he has a couple of trademarks. One is current, the other is pending. He talked about having his IP in terms of his domain site and his trademarks. All of those are good things that benefit the business. And as an investor, you're looking at this saying, okay, maybe there's a chemical composition of this particular sponge that he can patent as a utility patent. However, I'm guessing that some of these are design patents too, but that does increase the value of this company. Also, in 4 months, selling $100,000 in product is a big green flag that customers like this product. I bet it's pretty inexpensive to produce. Let's see how much money he's actually making.
Okay, Aaron, what do you need the $100,000 for?
What I want to do is set up an independent manufacturing facility with automated equipment.
Why do you need to go into your own facility?
The biggest problem is I'm on their time schedule.
Are you saying that you could be making more revenue if you were 24/7 making scrub daddies?
The way QVC is going, and we're just about to launch in a whole bunch of stores, we're going to need that capacity. And I have 18 years experience running a manufacturing plant that runs 24 hours a day.
This starts to sound like a founder. I'm starting to have more confidence in the team because now we have a founder who has 18 years of manufacturing experience and is talking about taking this from an outsource opportunity to building it in-house. And that's where you can reduce your cost quite a bit. And he also added automation. That's a big green flag for me because I'm thinking about his experience being able to automate this product, reduce the cost to produce this product. And also he's bringing up buzzwords like that his demand is outpacing his supply. And so this is a good problem to have. And I'm suddenly very interested in this product and this business. Still has its issues, but let's see how much money he's making.
What's your cost?
The cost to make one's about $1.
What are you selling them for?
About $2.80.
Wholesale?
Wholesale.
$2.80 wholesale is a perfect margin for this product. So right now it's costing him about $1 to make that product. I'm guessing he'll be able to get that down to maybe even 50 cents-ish if he's able to automate this and bring it in-house. He's selling it for $2.80 wholesale, which means that they must be selling them around $4 retail. So this has a large profit umbrella attached to the product with a low cost, pretty simple product. But we can't forget about that educational sell and how hard that is to be able to convince the consumer that this is a problem. So we have to think about how that's going to work. He's already been on QVC, so we'll see what the sharks are thinking.
It needs to be in every supermarket, drugstore, Walgreens,
It's so
CVS.
expensive. Mrs. Slavinsky goes to the store and picks this off the shelf and says, hey, it's a piece of foam with a smiley face on it. It costs 2 cents to make in China. That's what she's thinking. Because a Brillo pad, which is traditional product, is what? A 20%?
You're comparing it to the lowest end of the lowest end. You take it up to the highest end. Talk about the ones like Dobie pads or other pads out there that are, brand
Scrub
names.
Daddy, I think you've done a great job today, but I don't.
That was critical. So they just brought that founder an experience. They did the lowest level. When I think of Brillo pads, I think about the mess that they make. I think about the smell that they have, and I certainly don't want to use them. And so by comparing Scrub Daddy to a Brillo pad, they're sort of taking away the value proposition. And that founder was able to increase the perception by saying, no, that's the low end of the market. We're going after the high end of the market. I call this good, better, best. And so Scrub Daddy is positioning at a high price point, but also with high quality. Let's see if he can get a deal.
I don't know if it's going to work in retail. I don't buy into that vision. Just in the packaging, I just don't know if I see the
Robert,
difference.
it doesn't sell on a shelf, correct. But if you put it in display shippers, which we built, these beautiful cardboard display shippers, and it communicates the message to
You're
everyone.
talking end caps. You're going to have to pay for those things.
It's
Well-
hard to get them, even if you pay for them.
We're talking about point of purchase marketing here. So now to be able to educate the consumer that they have this problem, they have to be able to communicate it at the point of purchase. So setting up expensive end cap displays or units that are in the aisle are expensive. Stores don't like to give those. And if they do, they cost a lot of money. So that profit margin could be completely outweighed by the cost of getting to the consumer. So let's take a look at what happens next.
I don't see the retail vision. I'm out.
I like the product. I think you're doing great things. You're doing it the exact right way. The company's sales are completely dependent on QVC. That's a disaster waiting to happen. A one product company, right?
Not for long. We've got Scrub Mommy. We've got Scrub Baby for doing baby bottles. I've got a holder that sits it on your sink and it's got drains in the legs. You don't understand who you're dealing with. I am your.
Oh, I'm out.
About this deal? $100,000 for 50%.
This is when VCs make me mad. So they're trying to take a business that's doing $100,000. Yes, it has a difficult go-to-market strategy, but at the same time, taking 50% of the business away from the founder it should be illegal. So this is where I actually say to a founder like this, do you even need these sharks? Because let's think about this. We have a business that's already generating $100,000 in 4 months. They have been on QVC. They've gotten on Shark Tank. Why do they need this money? They have a highly profitable product, a little bit of a challenge in go to market, but why is it that they actually need to get this money from this shark? And giving up 50% of your business, I would be saying to this guy, yeah, you could grow faster if you maybe had a shark on your team, but at the same time, you could just bootstrap this business. This is a low cost of goods sold. And so let's see what happens.
Let's start the bidding there.
All right, you're out.
I'll tell you what I'll do for you. I'll give you $100,000. We'll never agree on what percentage I should get. We're going to change the model completely. You're going to keep the whole company. But I want to be your financier. I want you to give me 50 cents on every unit sold until I get the 100K back. Then it drops to 10 cents in perpetuity.
You just want to increase your cost of goods sold by 50%. Nothing, right?
Why give up 30% of your company?
Just interesting that Mr. Wonderful is now talking about making this a finance deal. And we have to really think about, are we trying to give away equity, or are we trying to just get the money that we need to build a manufacturing facility? And if we just need a manufacturing facility, then this deal could actually make a lot of sense. And in fact, so Mr. Wonderful's adding a royalty. And so what that means is that every unit that is sold, he will make a small amount of money. Now, 10 cents, 15 cents, probably too much per unit. However, if he were to negotiate that deal, that could be a really good opportunity for him, because by bringing that product in-house, manufacturing it in-house, he's going to reduce his costs by way more than 10 cents. So he could come out ahead. And some of you are going to say, yeah, but then he doesn't have a shark. He actually does, because since Mr. Wonderful would be paid on how many units are sold, his intention is going to be, let's sell as many of these as we can. He's going to open up doors for this founder, and it could be a very good deal without giving up any equity. Let's see what Erin does.
I'm changing my offer, actually. $100,000, but for 25%. The experience, the connections, everything that I have, it will be successful. I am partnered with the best of them.
Do you think 25% of the equity in your company is worth more or less than 10 cents a unit in perpetuity?
I know what to do.
Exactly.
Just did a $500 million deal with Walmart. Half.
He has to know who he is. And he just said very confidently, I know what to do. I have manufacturing experience. I've gotten on QVC. I've gotten on Shark Tank. This is an experienced founder. I really like this team. Let's see what he does.
$150,000 for 25%.
Okay.
From Damon. Kevin is
$100,000 for no percent and a tiny tithe of 10 cents. You keep all the equity.
Lori is offering you
Changed my mind. $150,000 for 25%.
So mine just went to 175.
Mine just went to 2.
Whoa.
I'll drop
Will you go to 5 cents?
7.5. It's a deal.
The equity amount is too much. Would you consider coming down to 20?
You know what? I will.
That was a good deal in the end. It was smart of him to try to retain as much equity as he could. But in the end of the day, Lori is going to accelerate that business faster than he could do on his own. So good job. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.